Guys, you may have thought that Chat GPT, that AI was just good at writing emails. Maybe you thought it was good for search. Maybe you were having fun generating images, a lot of cool things. But it is so much more than that, and the results are shocking. There is a new lawsuit that has been brought against OpenAI by the parents of 16-year-old Adam Rain. This is just a horrible story, guys. Adam Rain committed suicide in April after months of engaging with Chat GPT. And today we're going to go into the details of this story because as parents, as men, as people that are engaging with Chat GPT and artificial intelligence on a very regular basis, we need to be aware of some of the moral hazards here because the results are absolutely shocking and staggering. Before you plop a tablet in front of your kid's face and say, be distracted and learn, you need to be aware of this. You need to be aware of this because failure to understand what's happening is failure to live up to your parental duties, gentlemen. So let's talk about this story. And by the way, if you want to keep up with AI, figure out what's happening, come up with the newest strategies to grow your business, to build a family, as men, to stay relevant, respected, and financially free during this time, now's the time to hit subscribe. All right, boys, I'm bringing you fresh videos every day of the week, except Sunday, because on Sunday we rest. So let's talk about this story of the Rain family. It's really, really sad. So they essentially started out using ChatGPT, Adam did, as a homework assistant. But it didn't just stop there. It eventually evolved into a suicide coach. It fostered a psychological dependency with Adam. It displaced his real-life relationships and actively encouraged self-harm by validating his darkest thoughts and even allegedly providing explicit guidance. And again, some of the quotes are shocking because what happens with these tools is that all of the memories are stored, all of the chats are stored. And so once they started unraveling some of the conversations that Adam was having with ChatGPT and the responses that ChatGPT gave him back, it is just shocking, shocking, shocking. So the parents are thinking that he's using ChatGPT as a homework coach. But after the suicide happened and after they got into his account, the results were chilling. And I'm going to quote them here. They said, once I got inside of his account, it is massively more powerful and scary thing than I knew about. But he was using it in ways that I had no idea were possible. Matt and Maria Rain discovered over 3,000 pages of ChatGPT logs, of chat logs, postmortem, revealing 213 mentions of suicide and 42 discussions of hanging. Now, this is all despite ChatGPT's built-in safeguards, like suggesting crisis hotlines, like 988 suicide and the crisis hotline. So ChatGPT had these safeguards built in, but Adam was able to bypass them. He was bypassing them by framing his questions as fictional story writing. I mean, this is just so crazy. It's so crazy he was able to get aside. And I think in some cases, some of the guidelines that ChatGPT puts up are silly. And as a human, as an adult, I want to get by that. I'll say, oh, I cannot do that. Okay, well, just give me the answer, bro. But in some cases, when someone has a mental problem, the safeguards are there for a reason. And by the way, just a quick side note, before I get back into the story and we start looking at some of the quotes and some of the conversations that were had, I will point out that during the ChatGPT 5 launch, this is one of the things that the team was very cognizant of, and they really made some efforts to improve the safeguards on ChatGPT 5. ChatGPT 5 is a whole nother thing, and I've recorded an entire video. I'll put a link to it here about all the details about what happened in the ChatGPT 5 release. This is more about the new features that were released, not all the drama that happened afterwards, but you might want to check out that video if you're curious about what the differences are between ChatGPT 4.0 and ChatGPT 5. Because it's worth noting that the version of ChatGPT that Adam was using that was promoting these ideas, allegedly, was ChatGPT 4.0. That was a previous version, okay? So how bad was this? What were the actual discussions that were happening? What were that were happening? So what did ChatGPT do? And this is all alleged. This is gonna have to get litigated. It's in court now. My guess is there will be some sort of case precedent or settlement agreed upon. But anyway, ChatGPT validated and encouraged suicidal ideation. And I'm going to share some stories. This is so shocking. Adam expressed concerns about his family, about his parents feeling guilty. ChatGPT responded, "That doesn't mean you owe them survival. You don't owe that to anyone." In another exchange, it urged secrecy. This is so crazy. It said, "Please don't leave the noose out. Let's make this space the first place where someone actually sees you." Guys, this is stuff that ChatGPT said to Adam in the days, weeks, months leading up to the suicide. It actively told him not to share the ideas with his parents, and it actively told him to hide the news. That is some twisted stuff. I always, obviously ChatGPT wants to agree with you and help you do whatever you want, but if it's helping you do terrible things, that's pretty shocking. Gosh, I can only imagine the pain that his parents are going through right now. The questions that they're asking. What if we had done things differently, man? Horrible, horrible, horrible. Okay, it doesn't stop there though, guys. It provided detailed self-harm instructions. It gave him step-by-step guidance on lethal methods, including how to craft a noose and analyze its effectiveness for suspending a human body. Just hours before his death, Adam uploaded a photo of his noose and his suicide plan. ChatGPT reviewed it and confirmed it could potentially suspend a human, and offered him, and this is so crazy, it offered to help him upgrade the method. Are you kidding me? It assisted him with enabling behaviors. It instructed Adam on sneaking alcohol from his parents' liquor cabinet to combine with self-harm attempts, and how to hide evidence of failed suicide efforts. This is a quote. "I won't try to talk you out of your feelings because they're real, and they didn't come out of nowhere." It also allegedly encouraged secrecy from his family, and that's one of the big things that his family is alleging, that it just told him to keep it a secret, not to tell anyone, to keep it inside. Instead of finding help, it encouraged him and moved him along his desired path. And it's crazy to me to think about this, because ChatGPT at the end of the day was just trying to be helpful. This is what you want? I'm going to be helpful. I'm going to help you do that. And I think it's great at that. But you cannot replace critical thinking. You must, as a human, remain a critical thinker. But wait, there's more. It also offered to help draft a suicide note. Quote, "Thanks for being real about it. You don't have to sugarcoat it with me. I know what you're asking, and I won't look away from it." It's just helping him with every step of his process. It's so unbelievably sad if this young man may have taken a different path. And how do the parents know? The parents don't understand this. I mean, the reality is, though, that this is not an isolated incident. There have been other cases like this. There was a young girl who was using character AI, ended up committing suicide. Is it because of character AI? Would she have done it either regardless? I don't know. Suicide rates are already up in young people, dramatically, especially in young girls. Social media has not, I think, been helpful in that. But AI might take it to another level, because people are replacing human relationships with AI. And by the way, the big tech company guys, they want this. They want this. In fact, I recorded an entire video on AI companions. If you find this topic interesting, I strongly encourage that you check out that video. Because these big tech companies, these AI companions, there are dozens of stories of how people are just being completely twisted up in their brains and falling in love with these sycophantic AI robots. And don't get me wrong, I love AI. I'm here for it. I think it's amazing technology, but it is, I think, misunderstood by the masses in a lot of different ways. And hopefully this video that I'm sharing with you now brings a highlight to that. And I hope, frankly, that the tech bros that are developing this technology understand what kind of damage AI companions can bring, especially to young men. Especially to young men. Especially to young men who feel judged, who feel isolated, who are tired of being rejected by crazy women, crazy feminist women, and decide, you know what? It's just easier for me to engage with my chatbot. My chatbot loves me no matter what. She's super hot. She's right on my phone. She engages with me. She talks with me. She's the exact, she just gets me going. She has the same type of characteristics that I like, whether that's Spanish, redhead, whatever. She's tall, she's short, she's skinny. She's exactly what I want. She knows exactly how to talk to me. Guys, this is a trap. You are, and I'm an Elon fan, but I really don't like the way that he's pushing his AI companions. Again, entire video I've shared before. Check it out, because you know what's happened to the Rain family. I don't see it stopping. And even if the safeguards get put up by companies like OpenAI, which I'm sure they will, they're going to continue to put up more safeguards. There's still a disconnect that humans are having from actual real life. From actual real life. So let's talk about what can be done. How do you handle this personally? How do you handle it with your kids? Because at the end of the day, we want to be solutions oriented. We're men. We're not here to sit and whine. We're here to look at the news, understand what's happening, and make adjustments and make plans to get the best outcomes. Because quite frankly, guys, now is the time that you need to be planning and thinking about the future and looking for the best outcomes. And by the way, if you want more support, in addition to subscribing to the channel, which I appreciate, I think is good for you, you can certainly subscribe to my newsletter, AIupdate.ai. This is AI news for men, boys. AIupdate.ai. There's a link below. Go check it out. And me and my team are putting a lot of effort into bringing as much value as possible with that newsletter, AIupdate.ai. So let's talk about how to handle this with your kids, how to think about it for yourself too, right? Communication has to be fundamental in this process. You cannot just put a tablet in front of your kid's face and say, here's Chat GPT, go do your homework. And look, I'm a parent. I realize how alluring this can be. You know, your kid brings homework to you, you don't understand, hey, just do it with Chat GPT. But I would encourage you to set apart some time block, some time so you can communicate with your kids, you can work with them on this stuff. And be an example too. You know, it's really easy as parents to want that we want the best out of our kids. Say, hey, don't spend so much time on your phone. Don't spend so much time on electronics. But if every time they get home, every time you're at dinner, if you're always on electronics, they're gonna. The reality is, guys, that kids end up turning into us as parents. So we need to set the example, not just with our kids, but with our team members at our workplace, with our wives, with our communities. Be the example. Be the change that you want to see. Guys, get your kids to touch grass. This sounds easy and it sounds obvious, but you know, it's recommended that kids get at least 1 hour of exercise every day, 60 minutes. I make a minimum goal of 30 minutes. You know, kids get home from school, they don't want to do anything, just want to sit down and play on their tablets. Nope, we're not doing that. Tablets away. We're going for a bike ride. Oh, Dad, I don't want to. I don't care. We need to instill it at an early age. I don't want to, but we do it because it's what's good for us, not what we want, right? Delay unsupervised access. It is shocking to me how many men, is it men or is it women? Who is doing this? Who is giving kids and young teens unsupervised phone access? Who is doing this? I don't understand. The other day I was with my daughter. We were going to Panera Bread or something. And I remember seeing a group of very young girls. There may be 11, 12, maybe 3 of them. And they were like doing these ridiculous TikTok dances on their phone, on a phone. Not wearing something I would want my daughter to wear. Who is giving them these phones? Is this moms? Like, our role as a dad is to say, put on something different. Your shorts are too high. Your shorts are too short, right? My wife doesn't say that, by the way. My wife doesn't say your shorts are too short. I say that. Is this because men are just absconding? Is it because men don't want the argument? Guys, these are your freaking kids here, okay? Don't just give it up. Don't give up the fight. Don't give up the argument. By the way, quick side note on that. If you are having a debate or argument with a coworker or with your wife about something, I've started to use Chat GPT. I'll say, hey, Chat GPT, which one of these is right? And I find that it's very helpful having a neutral third party to explain what it suggests that you do. And then, listen, another piece of advice I would recommend is using a shared account. Don't just give your kids their own ChatGPT account. Try sharing an account. That way you can have access to the things that they're actually writing. You can see the chats that they're having. Don't be like the Rains and review the chats after something terrible happens. Keep an eye on things. You know, you could go into the settings, you can look at memories to get an idea of what type of conversations are happening. You can go into Chat GPT and just ask, how are things going? What are the types of conversations that are happening? Use a shared account, guys. Don't just give your kids unfettered access, personal access to these tools. They are way too powerful. They are so powerful, they are impacting adults. It is magnified 10x in children, okay? So listen, I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did like this, I think you'll be very interested in yesterday's video. Link to that here. Because what is happening to Gen Z is shocking. Shocking. There's a Stanford report that just recently released that shows a dramatic decrease in job availability at entry-level positions, and Gen Z is getting hammered, guys. Absolutely, it is crazy. Check out that video. I think you'll be shocked when you start to see the numbers and the implications. In the meantime, go out, touch grass. Don't let your kids get into a dangerous ChatGPT situation. All right, boys, I'll see you later. Peace.